shorty going stupid, going straight dumb. With us, I'm a big time nigga, still humble in the hood. Gotta keep it positive on nothing but the good. When I'm on vacation, I be stunting like I should. Got a real queen falling, she gon' stumble on the wood. And I still be doing business with my brother down. And I know that if I got it, I'ma cover them. And I know that if I need it, they gon' give it back. Gotta practice what you preachin', I be living that. Taking trips round the globe, bringing game back. Touchdown hood, happy that I came back. Take a photo with my granny for the memories. And if it's for a good cause, I'm buying 10 of these. Seem like every captain gotta maintain the cap. You can make change, don't change for that. Tell the whole truth, get paid for that. Bet you never fall off, you was made for that. You gotta...
Yes, you got to be who the fuck you really are, man. Be yourself, and you can still get paid for it. You ain't got to cap, you ain't got to lie, you ain't got to put on no facade for nobody. You ain't got to bullshit yourself for nobody else.
I was making that. I had a conversation about that. Like, was it yesterday, or the day before? But it was like, when it came to like the pod and even is he a mental health career path. Although, like, you know, obviously in the mental health space, like in the therapeutic space, you have to keep a level of professionalism and distance. But the idea is, you know, I'm trying to get a little paid for being as much of myself as I can within reason.
Right.
And the pod is for sure that. But I was making the correlation of like when you're
So how does your
hey, white woman.
Always,
Hey, you interrupting black voices.
Right.
Shut up, man. But it was basically pretty much saying like I was saying is that as far as I could tell, this is 100% like from my experience, but also like it's been backed by, you know, research and all this other shit, is that like I don't know, whatever interventions I've made just don't really hit as hard unless I'm like sprinkling a good chunk of me in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh yeah, that's it. Like if I could find a way to be, I guess I said, as much me as possible, then yeah. So authenticity is really all the fuck I know
Absolutely.
how to do. I'm really bad. It's like bullshit.
I'm really bad at all that
yeah,
shit.
I'm super. I'm trash at like not. I can like tone it back, but I don't know if I can like. I haven't worked that hard at it in a couple of years now, so I'm definitely out of practice with bullshitting.
I mean, that's part of, so like in my director position, that's part of what one of the programs we're doing is developing new therapists that are coming into the space or practicum students that are working with us during their internship, so like they can be ushered into the space properly.
Mm.
A lot of what we teach and coach them on doing is like them learning how to be yourself, like learn how to incorporate into your practice aspects of yourself, not self-disclosing, because that's a little different, but being open and honest and authentic and realizing like who you want to, I don't want to say cater to, but who you want to serve and why you want to serve them, and just marketing your authentic self to those people as opposed to doing what you think you're supposed to do in corporate America, which is conform to a certain space in a certain way. That's more business-like and professional. It's like that's a deterrent to people that are coming here looking for assistance. So for some people, it's hard to shed that. For us, for a lot of black folk, we take the ducks like water, as they say, where we are comfortable being ourselves in the space and assisting people without having to do the performative stuff. I think us being more performative is difficult for us, whereas for other folk, it's easy for them to be more performative as opposed to be more authentic, because that's what they told they're supposed to do. So I think it's essential for us, not to cut you off, I think it's essential for us to learn, like, hey man, you fuck the bullshit, like be yourself, be authentic, be all your black loveliness and all of that, like incorporate your culture. Everybody else does, so why can't you be your authentic self and bring every aspect to yourself to this field and still be able to like do your shit?
Yeah. And I would say like I know for me, I'm pretty sure like you can speak to this as well. Like, you know, whatever path you use to ride to get up in here,
right?
I think like I know like we're different. Like residential stuff types still exists, but like it's STRTP and all that other.
Yeah, it's a little different now.
But I would say like those environments like help because like I'm not saying put yourself like in danger, but working with like extreme populations like. I've ran the gamut at this point. And I would say that like the only like one of the I guess pluses, it's like tough, is that like it's tough, but like it's a plus is that you can't at least in my experience, you can't really bullshit them. You know, if you kind of, everybody, vibes, intuition, blah, blah, blah. I think that shit, like, exists. So I feel like with communities that have been like, you've been through the ringer. If you come off bullshit, like, they can smell bullshit. And bullshit to me, like, relates, as far as like the way I relate is like bullshit smells like the last time I smelled bullshit, some really bad stuff happened, whatever their level of trauma or bad experience was. So you're almost forced to be like some sort of real. Like, one of my favorite lines is like, you never underestimate the power of a well-placed fuck. If I'm communicating with somebody, like, I'm not finna get in here and, curse like a sailor. But if I can have like an authentic conversation, and this in my regular conversation might be a place where I'd be like, well, you don't really got to do all that shit. Like, the power of like saying something like, what'd you say? I'm like, well, I'm a regular person, bro. Yeah. Like, granted, I'm not finna come up here and give you my social and give you, but like, I'm trying to make the job, I guess, or the gig is connecting. I don't give a shit what theory or what modality I use. If I don't know how to connect with you, then all this shit is for naught.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to like, I saw episode. Sorry, there's the TV's in the background, and if you guys haven't watched Swarm, I haven't watched it all, but I watched like the first episode. Also, I'm a fan of I forgot her first name, but her last name is Fishback, and I'm a fan of her as an actress. And so far, the stuff that I've seen her in is like, I know I just made a complete fucking like detour.
No, it's okay.
But it kind of applies because like between that and she was on Power with Jamie Foxx, where they had like all the obviously superpowers, and then she's on that Swarm stuff.
Oh yeah, that is her.
Yep,
she's a little bit younger at the time. Clearly,
she getting kind of busy because that first episode, like they lean into her having like her like
the character development,
having some mental health stuff. And, she go real left, real bad, like real fast.
I mean, that's why I kind of wanted to watch it, just because it does kind of play on, or ain't no kind of, it does talk about the mental health aspect, and then it also, you can tell it's a clear nod at like the Barbs or the Beehives.
It's bees.
I say it's Beehives for sure because it's bigger. But I was like, I do want to see this, but I don't want to see this. The only reason I really considered it is because I was seeing people were like, hey, that first episode, Chloe getting her cheeks clapped, and I was like,
that's true.
Although it's not real and it ain't really showing nothing, I'm still not opposed to watching Chloe get her cheeks clapped. I mean, if
you gonna get a little lusty, it's a little top crack. Get a little half a scene, little top crack, little on bent over, little top crack.
Smell the rose.
For all the ladies out there, you get a sweaty dancing. It's like it's
an equal opportunity scene for everybody. I'm not mad at that.
Clippity-clappities.
I'm not mad at that.
But I do like it. Like, she everybody in there acting their ass off. At least for a first episode. All I know is the first episode.
Right.
And I don't know. It's kind of like, I feel like it's one of those moments where like you got to let us have stories that we don't usually get to tell. And she is 100% going off the deep end. And, she said it was an interview that like went around on one of these little actor pages that I follow. And she was saying some shit basically along the lines of like, I watched a lot of the classic, terrifying fucking movies. And I was like, I tried to embody some of that, tried to embody some Jokerisms. And I was like, we like a crazy ass villain. So you know what? Fuck it. Like I'm logged in.
I think my personal bias at the moment of not wanting to give attention to crazy ass black women.
Yeah.
It's just it's like I love y'all, but I don't want to give more attention to this narrative. But I understand this isn't amplifying it as a good thing. This is clearly showing that it is a problem.
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about that myself.
I don't want to uplift this narrative of like crazy black women being okay, but I don't think it's uplifting it at all.
Yeah, no, it's not uplifting it, and then it doesn't come off as like that. Like like you watch. I always call it corny, where it's like it's always this. What was that? Even though this is a classic movie, like some of that like thin line between love and hate shit, where it's like. You see motherfuckers now online like, he manipulated
she was justified
her.
In her
it's
behavior.
A lot of, this is not like she's justified, but it does give you the sense of like when you're watching it, you can tell she's like run across a rough patch. So you don't like. It seems like one of the how you watch some of these other maybe not necessarily like our films, where it's like you watch the villain or this motherfucker like struggling with mental health, doing a lot of heinous shit. but you are like, you don't like them, but you are interested in their story. And it's not so just, hokey niggas ain't shittish.
Right.
Like, I guess that's what I'm getting to. It seems like it's just a genuine thriller horror shit, which I'm like, yeah, cool. I want us to do. I'm as a nigga who sat up here and like fucking threw away episodes just completely ranting about I want you niggas to do something the fuck else. I do feel like this might be a little something the fuck else. Like, I think she's even like her like fucking up. I do think her like fucking up niggas like will eventually. That was in one of the taglines. I do think like that part is still geared towards like revenge, but yeah, I'm okay. I'm gonna try. I just want y'all to not be so one trick ponies, and I'm hoping this has got a little nuance. Yeah. It seems like it so far. So
it's a little bit out of the norm. I mean, if we can, we spent the last 3-4 years for sure through the pandemic and some before the pandemic. We amplify all these other crazy white people shows, so I guess we are deserving of having our crazy black person show as well.
Yeah, I'm cool. Like, I'm cool with us having a when it's just genuine, like, I don't know, when it's not just whatever the fuck it always be like, I'm not opposed to like slavery shit, but like when it's not like when it's just not corny, I guess. I know that's like a very generic term, and we fucking blew that term out the ass a couple weeks ago with what corny is, but yeah, when it's like good story, good writing, I'm like, okay, cool. And it's not just some of these like same, tropes. And it does speak to, I think, some maybe the negativeness of some of you motherfucking crazy ass Hyver, Barbie, whatever the fuck people. Like it touch on all that shit.
That's always been, cause
and dealing with grief. Cause that first episode we get heavy into like the dealing with grief. She's got a lot of social issues and socially awkward shit. It's a lot of shit.
Right. Which I can appreciate, cause I mean I see that I've been watching Bel Air for a while. I mean, the new season started, so I'm kind of watching the new season as well.
I'm okay with Bel Air.
But I
thought I was gonna be a little.
No, I can appreciate it, but we get aspects of, and a lot of black stuff, we're getting more aspects of discussing mental health. So Carlton having his anxiety attacks and how that affects him, and his addiction to medication and other stuff to help him cope. I appreciate us having those conversations more often, but I'm also at the same time, like, I don't want us to bastardize it by way of entertainment to where we're not really, really talking about it. We're just kind of using it because it's the hot topic or thing to discuss at the moment. Like, I want us to really,
I do think.
Yeah, so I would hope this like actually has the conversation of like, some of y'all like Beyonce don't know y'all for real, and y'all be a little
I think
for somebody that don't never know you. They've crept it in there pretty decently.
Yeah, because like I feel. It don't feel bastardized. Like, I feel bad for Carlton. Like, when he like has his moments, I was like, oh shit, like that's, and I think sometimes people say like, only thing, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed. It was one of these episodes where like they did the whole like they were doing like the whole like protect the black teacher thing.
Oh yeah, that's the most recent one where they did the protest.
And when he was like, it was a couple of things I like in that episode. So one, I laughed when he was like, I have anxiety. Like, it just was the presentation. Not that he has it. It was just because we've made it such a thing that it was part of it, because I had to think about that myself. I was like, why I laugh at that? How he's presented it, I thought was funny. But also how we discuss anxiety, it just makes everybody seem like, oh my God, I have anxiety, I'm fucked up. But I'm like, no, anxiety presents like that, like these deep, aggressive panic attacks. I can't fucking breathe. My goddamn chest finna blow up. So I was like, cool, I appreciate that part. But I did laugh when he said it. But afterwards, when he like, he brought it back.
At the bowling alley.
Yeah, he brought it back in 10 seconds for me. Like, I laughed when he yelled it, but then when he brought it back around, like, this is what the fuck I deal with, you sons of bitches. And I was like, oh, okay, he got his shit out. Yeah. Also, knock that nigga the fuck out. So,
I appreciate that.
I mean, granted,
he's
non-violent,
smaller.
but also sometimes you gotta get motherfucker off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, something like, all right, cool.
I like in that regard, like, it didn't make him overly, like, you're not the antagonist. You're defending yourself. And you are justified in doing so. And granted, you're tiny and you beating up this big light skinned nigga, so it was okay.
Yeah, like
I'm with that. But I like afterwards how they're like, yeah, man, because you had this moment, and although you were vulnerable in sharing what you're going through, you've created a healthy discussion around all these other black students that now get to have their moments to share what they're going through as well. So yes, you being vulnerable about your shit is actually freeing, not just for you, but freeing of all these other people in your environment as well. So do that more often. I like how they tied it in that regard.
Yeah, and I think it was one of those moments like, you can definitely mirror it. Like, hey, man, like, you people outside, like, it's a thing. Like, you know, granted, I know that, I guess I like it too, that because everybody, and to the point where motherfuckers, you know, make jokes. I make jokes sometimes. So like, you know, that everybody says like they have anxiety. Like that's even a joke. Like, you know, you can sign up. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and take a day off because I got anxiety. But I'm like, sometimes, not to say people don't, but like sometimes it does look like this. It'll really fuck your whole like life up if you don't get your shit together. I also like that they talk about like, you know, pills, because everybody, you know, not to say that there's definitely a space for it, but I'm not always the biggest proponent of just throwing a pill at something. So I like that this show, like Bel Air, has become like a show that I'm really into, because I'm like, oh, I like how they're like really taking shots at shit. And like, you know, it just don't seem like some one-sided shit. Wherever Will was at when he said we want some writers on this motherfucker, I felt like he did a good thing. And you know, a lot of the characters, like, you know, I like them one episode, but I don't like them 10 minutes later. Like, it's not just this one side, because I thought Carlton was gonna be like a full-fledged douchebag, but I'm kind of corny for not, you know, doing my whole speech. Then I'm fucked up, you know, but I have my anxiety attack. But I'm a real nigga because I knocked this motherfucker out. Like, you know, I'm conflicted. I be conflicted like every 5 minutes on that show, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, give me something to fucking think about.
I mean, I think I like those aspects of them tying the original into the present without completely changing it or revamping it. Because him starting off as a character that you don't like and then transitioning into a character that has lots of aspects that you like, they're doing the same thing but in a different way. So it still introduces components of the original to where it's not completely changing the story, but it is somewhat familiar. I like that. I also like Coco looking delicious every time.
Oh yeah, they did. Now, you know, they did a thing with her. She hit the gas. If you haven't watched the episode, I mean, fucking spoiler alert, you'll be all right. In that episode, you know, she it was a couple things, like, you know, like when she meets bro's family, like I thought that was cool, because I was like, oh, look at her fucking like going, trying. Now she did hit the gas a little too hard.
It's okay.
Extra, got a little weird.
It's okay.
Got a little weird.
But the effort in general. Now, rewinding. I know this ain't about to be no whole like Bel Air review, but her not being able to appreciate what she had in front of her until she saw somebody else seeing worth in it. Although that is true, I'm not a fan of that. Because like, you ain't really want me till you saw old girl was pushing up on your boy. And now all of a sudden, not only do you want to be with me, but claim me and make it public and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
like,
see,
now you want to press the gas really, really hard because you saw somebody else had interest in me. But when I had interest in you and you ain't think nobody else was on my team, now, you know, it ain't that big a deal.
Why don't y'all be seeing that shit go both ways? Because if that was you, you'd be like, you're not really fucking with me. That's just some shit you don't want nobody else to have. Like, you know, it's cool. It works for the show. But a lot of y'all be telling on yourself, you know, be saying some shit like, because that shit is not, I don't know, some of that shit is that don't resonate. Is that being like some love and shit? That doesn't seem like general interest. That seems like selfishness. Yeah, I just don't want
and
nobody
insecurity.
else to
Like, I want what I want, and if I can't have what I don't want nobody else to have it. Like, it's my germs. Like that's one of them type moves. That's what that is essentially. But her redeeming herself with like, this is a family of entire different culture, and I want to learn this culture in order to show them that I have interest in him and interest in his family, and interested in what they're interested in.
Yeah,
a little. Let me show a little interest. Let me do some research. Let me figure out how to play this role. Let me figure out how to show him that I care about his likes and interests as well. That's a good redeemer. But that also, are y'all doing that?
Well, I mean, like, you know what you're asking for. I want to meet your parents, and then does a lot when that happens. Not just I want to meet your parents because I feel like I deserve me. You don't deserve a motherfucking thing. but you did. You are putting forth the effort, and that's dope. That is something I'm like, yeah, let's focus on that part. That part's to be appreciated. And now, you know, I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been trying to keep up with, like, you know, shows. I'm trying to support all, you know, not all of them, because I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched Power, and I don't really plan to go back to watch that. But I have been watching BMF, and I'm not gonna lie, it's like I said before, well-written show, good this, that, and the third. But I'm not gonna watch 40,000 shows of niggas selling drugs. I got that, and I got Snowfall. That's it for me. I'm out. That's all I got.
I was only going to watch Snowfall because it looked like an interesting story.
Snowfall's good. I
believe it's good. I don't doubt it at all. I've never started it, but I believe I'd watch that. BMF.
Snowfall's good. BMF is good. It's well written. Snowfall, obviously, I think it's funny because when I watch Snowfall in front of anybody in my family, they're like, Oh shit! I'm like, oh, you niggas was outside.
Yeah, y'all remember this, huh?
There you
You
go.
was out there doing some
You
things.
fuck around and sit down there watching snowfall. I'm like, oh, you tell about your life. Put my dad put my dad in front of a TV and snowfall. Tell about your life. Yeah, all right, y'all finna say, huh? What was you?
I remember this. Oh,
What you do? What you know? What you mean you remember this? What you remember?
I remember somebody telling me about it. I remember
What
hearing about it.
Because I remember I was getting in trouble for going outside doing little shit. So what do you remember? Okay, because I don't remember none of that shit. So what did you? Anyways, fuck you remember. Yeah, BMF is cool. BMF's super well written. Some of y'all be like, the internet make, I like the show. Y'all spent half the day talking about meat dick all day. Like,
Was it like his real shit or was it? I don't
know. Apparently everybody says, and in the theme of equality is titties and booty hole on the screen. Pull a dick out, I get you. What was that? That was a some more thing. Like, she had a whole joke about that.
Oh yeah, that's
I
what.
want to see if Wesley is this.
Right.
So y'all progression, man.
That's
And
what Joe was
have
talking about.
Huh?
That's what Joe was talking about. I saw a clip of Joe talking about we need a warning if penis is going to pop up on the screen, and I didn't put two and two together and realize that. I mean,
probably because he was clapping cheeks and it was like cool, and then all of a sudden like dick, and I was like, well, for this nigga, I could have watched the fucking like, because if y'all gonna do it, don't fuck around with it. Where the pussy
I'll shoot
at?
a little bit because in Watchmen they had that. Now it was a little bit more subtle because he was out, he was outside in the dark. But I caught that. He was out there naked.
The Watchmen, I laughed so because when I first watched The Watchmen, I was unaware of the comic. I went back and read the comic. Super dope. Read The Watchmen. I resonate with Dr. Manhattan on almost a weekly basis where I want to get the fuck away from y'all and live on the moon. But the fact that I was like, damn, nigga, you get your power. What level of enlightenment were you just say, I get to show my dick? I'm so enlightened, y'all gotta all look at my dick.
Right.
That shit funny.
I'm so enlightened, I'm going to fight y'all. I mean, I appreciate this black man representing you kicking ass and you doing it naked. I get it. And your wife is in the house. She did what she had to do.
Are we talking about the show or the movie?
I'm talking about, well, I know the movie had it for sure, but I'm talking about the show.
Okay, well, I was talking about the movie because the show I support, though, because it was
The show was great. But I'm saying, like,
And
even
y'all
in
was
the
mad.
show, when she got him to, like, realize who he was as far as being Dr. Manhattan, and, like, once she got him to wake up, he go outside destroying shit naked. And I was like,
Yep.
oh, yeah, I forgot. And it was, for me, because seeing him, it's the same character that I saw in, what's the name of the other shit where he was, they had, was it Grandmaster Flash? Like, when they were kids and they were trying to, when breakdancing and hip hop first start coming into New York, and they had Jaden Smith and all that.
fucking the
Get Down.
Yeah.
So I remember him in the Get Down. So I'm seeing him naked outside blowing shit up, dick swinging. I was like, he used the nigga with bell bottoms on.
That motherfucker, he get work. Y'all get to work.
Yeah.
And I think he's finna piss people off because it was something that said he might have got tapped for fucking Power Man on not Power Man. Is it Power Man?
Luke Cage?
No. I'm saying the wrong character. God, Wonder Man but I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen. But they said that he got tapped for it. I don't know how they're gonna time in. I'm here for it because, as I've said before, there's a lot of white characters that don't have to be white. That just was because of the times. Like Thor, keep him white. Steve Rogers can be white. Some of these other motherfuckers don't have to be, and I'm okay with them race swapping because the character's not tied to the culture. I've done that rant already. Eat a dick if you don't like it. But when I was looking at Dr. Manhattan, so let's see, the TV show version, go watch the Watchmen show. I thought it was dope. I thought it was fucked up that he died. I be wanting us to just run this shit. I'm like, no, nigga, like stay alive, give her your powers, just be two big blue black motherfuckers just blowing the shit up. Anyways, I know like they just wrote it that he died. I thought that whole shit was whatever, but cool, because Regina King kicked you niggas dicks in the whole show, so I was okay with that.
Right.
But in the show, when I watched the movie, this is where I be having one of those like unrealistic like man words. I'm like, this nigga is a fucking multi-dimensional thinking being. He got 3 of himself in there knocking the Doonies down in like just electric things, and this motherfucker got up and got mad because he was trying to save the planet. I made 3 niggas. You're fucking 3 of me. The other, that I exist off like you. I can't build a fucking save the world machine, and you can't. There's no nigga like me in the universe, and you found a way to get mad. I was baffled by that.
Why?
That shit blew. Like, nigga,
Why does that surprise you?
I would be so. I don't even know if he could get mad for real. He was like, And then he still like teleported her to her mom. I'm like, you finna go like, fuck this regular nigga. Like, what? I can't believe you're in there not focusing. I can focus on everything at once. Are you nuts? I'm focused on literally everything.
So
that's crazy.
Would you say that because shifting to that from like say Hillary and Bel-Air, like I recognize this thing and I recognize the effort I have to put into in order to understand and connect with this thing. And then you have a situation like that where you just completely miss the magnitude of what is in front of you and you scrutinize it or judgment or get upset with it, not realizing like you are the reason why this missed connection is happening right now. It's not me. I'm not the problem here. You are the problem in this situation. So how would you handle that situation? Having these two stark differences, which one are you gravitating towards, sir?
I'd have been Dr. Manhattan, and girl, fuck you. I could turn a tree into a Lamborghini. I can rearrange. Girl, go away. Poof. I'm like, what the fuck?
With that level of power, that level of ability, I'm saying immortality as well.
I mean, at the end, he did it though. He was like, you stay here with dog. I'm finna go to another solar system.
Well, that was kind of the question I was leading up to. Like, if you have all of that, do you even choose to build deeper connections in that capacity with somebody, or do you just like, let me sow my royal oats?
I mean, it's not sow your oats. It's like I'm cool with. My thing is, I'm never opposed to like creating the bonds. Mm-hmm. It's just. I feel like that's one thing that I be saying. Like I've said it as a joke for the past couple weeks, but I resonate with what the women be saying. I think niggas should adopt what the women be saying. It's like, look, man, like if once you recognize if I'm in another space, you can get the fuck. I think a lot of niggas be like not getting the fuck because they be trying to be good niggas or whatever. But like, nah, you could you can recognize like, hey, like okay, if I'm using like black shows or whatever, even though. Like I watch BMF. There's like in that show, Lala's in the show, and there's
she's showing her titties again.
Showing a whole lot. She getting to it.
Fantastic.
Shout out to her, man, acting the Fina. But her character, got a couple kids and is the girl of another dude. And initially she was helping T kind of do some shit to move around the business, but he was doing a lot of like to get on her or whatever. And I'm thinking like in my mind, I had this thought and I was like, damn, is this a fucked up thought? Because it seemed like every other like couple episodes, she's like, oh my God, I need help. Got an abusive dude. And then like the other time, it was something that just happened last episode. He needed to come and save the day and whatever. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, and granted, T got a whole wife and a baby with like, a kid and maybe another kid on the way. A lot of kids aren't going around. But I think to myself, I'm like, man, look, I feel less stress when I think, because, you visualize yourself with the characters. I feel less stress thinking about what it would be like to be a drug kingpin. I feel when they like, oh, man, we lost work. We got to go back and re-up. And I'm like, okay. I feel less stress thinking about that than when he shows up and has to like sift through the relationship shit. I was like, bro, where the drugs at? I'm like, where the drugs and the guns? Throw me in that shit, cool as a cucumber. Dealing with this, fuck no. Where the drugs are, the drugs and the guns and the bullets. Cool. We got to figure it out. All right, Meech, we got to go drive down to fucking Atlanta in a very dangerous situation. We got to fly to Colombia and maybe lose our life. In that regard, when I'm thinking like drug kingpin, I'm like, cool. This seems like something that, you have to be in the mindset for what you're doing. As soon as the relationship shit pop up, I was like, back to the drugs. Like, cause what the fuck are we doing? Not to say these niggas aren't making terrible decisions. I'm just saying like the stress to me, I'm like, I don't know, this seems I'm gonna stay with the business. What the fuck are we doing over here?
So essentially, a man having the ability to choose the lesser of two evils, like which the path of least resistance, right? Like which feels more comfortable for me? Am I willing to sacrifice in this area or am I willing to sacrifice in this area? And although this is chaotic, I will take this over the discomfort that comes in this space. Now, we see both sides. I'll say we see both sides. We'll see the side where men choose to like dull down their voice and not argue or not speak whatever they need to speak in a relationship for the sake of keeping peace. But we also see men that will choose something completely away from this lady altogether just to be able to keep peace. What is an unhealthy way that you think men try to keep their peace, and what are some healthy ways that you yourself would say that you try to keep your peace when choosing either chaos or chaotic people? I was gonna say chaos, like, but
what was it like? And niggas do the Al Bundy shit. Or is it? I feel like it's Al Bundy shit, but I don't know if he really did that. But every man like does that shit. Like you sit in the fucking driveway, or we've said that here. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like it was something you sent me today, and it was this thing where it was like a dude was making a joke, and it was like the 5 things dudes don't do to avoid an argument, which is basically just like, just being flat out just like misunderstood. But it's some of that, and everybody said it. Your dad says it, your grandfather says it, where you like, you need to pick your battles, which is cool, which makes perfect sense. It's just, I don't know, sometimes I feel like the way dudes pick their battles is always like things that might be core things that really like are, bothersome to them, but they eat shit so that, the other side can be happy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like on the opposing side, it's imbalanced. Like niggas sometimes I feel like eat their battles too much, and maybe now it's like, I'm not finna let you, walk all over me, cause man. And granted, understanding that comes from a situation with like hella misogyny, but it's like, hey, you could have like let that ride. That wasn't even that deep. Why are we fucking arguing? Or why are you snapping on that person or whatever? And now I might have to fight because you cussed out the fucking. I just thought we was having a cool day. You cussed out this motherfucker at the fucking register who's having a tough go of it in their life, and now they're like, hey, bitch, you're my 13th reason. Let's fucking get this shit going.
Displacement.
Yeah, and now I'm like, damn, you could have. But he'll probably, and in a moment where he probably could have told that, that's a good scenario. In that moment, he probably could have, told her like, yeah, what was I should have done? Like you probably could have not said that shit to that person because taking into account this, is that, and the third, and we don't have an issue. But he'll go, you're right, babe, so he don't get doubly, triple cussed out. And that seems to be a trend that, is a thing that motherfuckers talk about. Mad niggas talk about that shit. They're not going to tell you. He not going to tell you. We'll say it, and he can pretend like he didn't hear what we said.
Amongst each other, which like even so in the black men's vulnerability group that I've been doing every month for the last few months. And last month's discussion, was it last month or the month before? I think it was the first month. The first month we touched on that a lot, as far as how a lot of the guys in the group I'm choosing peace by not speaking up for myself or speaking my needs, because it's like, I know it's unhealthy. And a lot of dudes in the group were saying like, I know this is unhealthy for me. I know this isn't beneficial to me at all. I know this is me like stepping over my knee. Like I know all the negatives that come with this, but I'm still willing to do this because it's just safer for me. Yeah, it's safer for me to like accept all these negatives for the sake of not having to hear her mouth or be put in a precarious situation or, risk divorce or losing half of everything that I have or whatever the case is. I would rather be quiet and take this long list of negatives than deal with these 2 negatives in this area, although I know it's still hurting me little by little.
Yeah, I think that's one of those, God, I can't remember the dude's name, but it was a different conversation. He was on there talking. I've seen this dude a lot. He was talking to Charlamagne. It was in your story. Mm-hmm. And he was more so discussing like
the guy with suicidality.
Yeah, he was more but the point he said about like not understanding, not having news, not having the language, and like able to really verbalize, because that's a fucking skill set. Like figuring out like, okay, man, what am I really feeling? Like this is my expression. What am I feeling? And hence therapy. Like, because everybody did it, we wouldn't have no job. So cool, understand. Like great, but being able to have those same conversations, one with yourself, and then, figuring out ways to have that with your partner, because seeing like, if I keep this up, I'm gonna, end up in a bad spot. But being able to verbalize with yourself why you might do the whole, I don't want to run hear her mouth. that might be a part of it. But like, let's get into why you feel like it's okay to even live this dynamic. Well, that's how, whatever that is, whatever, like, talk about the conditioning that lets you think that, well, that's how what she is. And that's, because that boxes women in and men in as to everybody mad about roles and what this is. Okay, we'll explore that. Explore why you feel like, because what you're saying here reinforces this over here, which if we go 5 or 6 levels down, ends up hurting you, and Loki ends up hurting, this person. Maybe you are just, nigga, maybe you're lonely. Maybe you didn't do enough of, again, I swear I'm 100% borrowing from women. Like, maybe you didn't do enough evaluation in this dating phase in the beginning, because now, I'm worth it. What the fuck does that look like? Because my nigga, like, if we, lay out what it is, like, you had to be worth, same old shit I be saying, you had to have a good job, you had to have a good this, you had to have a good that. Those are moments of you having to prove your worth, and you were cool with that. Now you say that shit on the other side, it's like, I'm worth it, nigga. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's the rhetoric, and I know a lot of the rhetoric is out there supposed to be from a space of like, basically, positivity, and supposed to be a good thing, but some of that I do feel like bleeds into people just being like arrogant and unreasonable, as if I don't have to do anything in this space. And niggas out here not wanting to admit, because they got egos, that you're running this relationship on fear. Like, you're scared to say something because you're scared of the option that she goes, fuck you, and now you got to go home and beat your dick. And you're lonely about it. Like, it's not just beating dick. Like, you got to go home and you
have to self-soothe. Beating your dick is essentially self-soothing to a degree.
But you're lonely. We
can stick with that.
This is me. I'm gonna leave the sex part alone for the next 5 seconds. Like, we're gonna not talk about dicks for like the next 10 seconds. You're lonely, my nigga. Like, you are. I won't like. What's that shit? Because girls is players too. Because niggas is lonely too. You want somebody to connect you. You want to come home and have somebody to talk to that understands you, that gives a shit. You're an emotional being too, my boy. Intimacy. You want to, I want
intimacy. I want connection. I want deep relations. Men want those things. That's kind of why I disagreed a little bit with Buddy's point in the conversation with Charlamagne, because he's like, men don't have the language, and it's like, no, we do. I think there are some men in every category. There's a split. I think there are some men that don't have the ability to communicate their needs and how they need it. But I think a lot of men do. They just don't feel safe enough to do so. And then especially when you factor in, well, I'm going to be lonely if I do communicate it. Well, fuck, I'd rather deal with not being lonely and having somebody close to me and dealing with being misunderstood or not even trying to be understood in the first place, or whatever the case is. Like, I'm willing to do that because the loneliness that I suffered through is so great, which, we kind of touched on that off air in our conversation, throughout the week. So it's like, I think a lot of men have the ability. We just don't get the credit for us having the ability because we spend so much being surrounded by fear of loneliness and inadequacy and all these other things that we would rather lessen ourselves just to have somebody around. Kind of goes to our settling conversation that we've had before.
Yeah. And it I don't know, man. I'm trying to say this in a way that y'all, get a lot of, not a lot. Okay, lucky fuck y'all, but whatever. Let's be nice. Like, the big critiquing the niggas just say shit to hate, but it ain't from hate. It's most of these conversations are a desire to make these shits kind of connect well, and then sprinkle some mental health and
just a little bit. Depends who you talk to, because some people think that we're just misogynists that disrespect.
Okay, honestly, man, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Like, I get it, but like, the shit's be an hour and a half long, and I'm not gonna stop posting the salacious shit. Like, the links,
even the salacious shit isn't.
The links is everywhere. If you want to hear it. If you don't, again,
like, here they go.
You can suck my sack from the back.
Depending, it might not be a bad. Well, never mind.
You're welcome. I'm gonna enjoy it, but you welcome.
Listen, you be surprised. I've come across some individuals that they like giving as well. So
I'm proud of y'all. Nah, it's okay.
Be yourself.
That's
how we started off the discussion. Being yourself, being authentic.
I'm proud of y'all because that's something that's something that will benefit the relationship. That is an indicator. Granted, I'm not trying to, make room for niggas who just be, using sex or whatever, but that is an indicator. Wow, this motherfucker going nuts for no reason. She still got her fucking clothes on and just is going fucking ape shit. I can mark off this sex thing. And if everything is a spectrum and fluid, this is an indicator that this person might have these traits in other aspects of the relationship. Mm-hmm. Now, you on the other hand, I feel like you're selfish. And now I feel like you probably are selfish in other aspects of the relationship. But because we're all programmed to do that goofy ass shit of where these relationship standards kind of do everybody a disservice, I have now fucking up here promoting the fact that I need to bend over backwards. You know, that's all that stupid, she's a good girl shit. And I'm like, nah, man, but now you set up a scenario where this person really, really, really has not had any indicator that they're really like a reciprocal individual. And this shit just don't work if you don't do that. Like, it's not a real healthy shit. Like, it's celebrity niggas every other day complaining about their partners being like really mean or shitty to them. And it's like, you only set up this dynamic. But that's also not because, you know, I like to chase, I like to be a provider. It's because, nigga, you scared that if you ever said, hey, I'm having a really bad day, you find out this motherfucker sucks. And now you stuck.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of taps on what you glazed over a little bit, but you tapped on it earlier when you were talking about how the roles can be a conduit to pain more so than success. So to speak. Like, we adopt these things and hold on to it, and that's really the precursor to the discomfort that we're going to go through. And I don't mean like discomfort that's going to grow us and better us. It's just discomfort for the sake of
that was discomfort.
Well, that is essentially killing yourselves to a degree.
Watch Invincible, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, but this is essentially it. Like, how these roles can be that we destroy ourselves because we are holding on to this as opposed to exploring it in better and healthier ways. Being able to separate from that, being able to, like we started off the discussion, be more authentic, be more yourself, find out who self is, be mindful of self, grow self, change self, dive into self more and more and more to where I don't have to fit these roles. I fit more of what me needs and what me is looking for and what me feels comfortable with, so that I don't have to shoot myself. Well, I would say in the foot, but shooting yourself in the foot would be an upgrade in some situations, because y'all ain't shooting your dick off.
And like, I don't know, man, like, I guess thinking, you know, that's like I don't know, man, I don't know about, like, I don't have like can't think of like a real technical term for it, but to me that's indicative of like maybe even this therapy, mental health, growth, self, whatever y'all are in, everybody's in wellness. You know, it's about like how this one act can trigger 50 different little acts that create a better space, more positive space. And it's like, okay, man, if we, God damn it, just think about I want this person to do this. Okay, well then what will come of that? Well, this. Take that shit 10 steps that way and just see where it hits you. Do you like what happens? Do you really like that? And if you like it, cool. Then ask yourself why the fuck you like it. Because low-key, what you like down there, that might not really be love. That might be control. That might be like, you know, your ego, which is cool. You don't necessarily have to get rid of it immediately. That's not really sometimes possible. But at least understand, holy shit, I'm not even really speaking from a romantic space. I'm speaking from a fear space. And as much as, you know, I understand this shit is difficult. I understand there's 400 pounds. But goddamn it, at some point we got to pick this motherfucker up if we're going to, you know, whatever the fuck we're doing. Workout analogy. Bump. And also, you guys are like, I'm really trying my best because you guys are catching me. Like, I'm hopped up on this new fucking book. It's Ancient Future, and basically, it's just the black. Like, I never thought about this. I've said on this platform, on a couple platforms, like, you know, read the Kabbalion and the Hermetic principles and thoughts and shit. And I was fucking scrolling through TikTok, which is fucked up now because I have to give like 2 points to TikTok or fucking social, like, and I rolled across some dude's page and he was like, hey, because the algorithm knows my fucking address at this point. And he was like, hey man, like, if you've read the Kabbalion or Hermetic stuff, and I was like, oh cool, I've been liking a lot of that shit tonight, fuck. And he was like, did you ever think about the fact that those, as dope as some of those principles and books are, they are still written from a perspective that's not ours? I said, motherfucker, I done read this book twice, and I was like, I never crossed my mind that I was like, I just associated like, oh yeah, well, Hermes is Thoth, and that's the black shit, cool. And he was like, yeah, it is, but the nigga basically was like, hey, yeah, by the way, nobody has written anything like this, like that was specifically for us. But here's the version of it. I said, bitch, I gotta buy it. I never clicked some shit so fucking fast. It took like, I went to Amazon 4 different ways, and it was only up there on Kindle. And word to my mom, because I just was like, hey, bro. Like, I'm like, she's like, I was like, because we all shared the same, like, Amazon shit. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I deleted it. It's not in the Kindle. This motherfucker wouldn't have found it. I was like, wow. It was like through a website or some shit. So I got the book, and I've been reading it. And again, it's like redoing the Kabbalion, but sprinkled in a lot of like bliggity black, and they stole our shit. I said all that to say the way it correlates is if you look up like Hermetic principles, it'll have like 7 of them, and it'll be like, everything is gender, the mind is all is whatever, correspondence. But it's a lot of shit about balance. And I said all that to say is a lot of these relationship shits, a lot of these life shits. I know we get up here and talk about relationships because honestly it's just easy, and I don't like pissing y'all off a little bit.
I mean, everything is a relationship, so you might as well.
I be talking, but I like talking about the relationship, mainly because like you gotta be getting a little pissy. When I get pissy, I be liking shit. Y'all like shit more when you pissy than when you like it. So fuck you. But it talks about like true, genuine like balance and what that really like costs, and a lot of that is like some real introspective looks of like if you understand these principles about how this act or this even somewhere down to this small statement can fucking affect this and that. Now y'all really gonna start aligning your fucking energies and not just posting some stupid quote that adheres to your bias at the time. Like genuinely you might go, oh shit, I did that and that got me here. Or at least you'll start looking at shit like that, and that's your own little checks and balances. I don't know if it always is that, but if you're like, man, fuck this motherfucker at the gas, but if I say some shit to this motherfucker, and if I can really think to myself they don't deserve this outlandish shit I'm about to do to them, what will that affect 3 or 4 days or weeks down the line? It's a lot of shit.
Or even how would that affect my mentality, me allowing myself to express that? Because also currently I'm reading Dopamine Nation, which I shared that on my story. So just like how, say, today's society is so addicted to instant gratification in a number of different ways, how that creates a chain of reaction of how we approach and see everything else and how difficult it is for us to separate from that. But essentially, talking about balance. So I think like one of the chapters that I was listening to today, because I guess she's psych, so she can prescribe medication and she'll do the check-ins and stuff like that. She's not doing the therapy on a regular basis. It's a monthly deal. She's just talking about how like certain people can be on medications and it helps them, and some people realize like when it comes to addiction of any kind, it just can be a conduit to even more addiction because you're replacing one addiction with a number. So she normally tries to get people to spend the first month just being completely like, let's balance it out. Let's have you not do this thing at all. Just to see how you respond. It's like she gave one example of a girl that came in with anxiety, super reliant upon weed to help her with her anxiety, but she kind of processed it with her and got her to be abstinent on weed for a month. She's like, yeah, my anxiety is completely gone. Like I don't have it anymore. I don't need medication. I don't need any of that, because she learned how to balance things out by not being so heavily leaned in one area. So I say all that to say like the importance of balance in general. Having proper understanding of where you are, where you're trying to be, and what is required of that, and then finding a healthy balance to elevate you to that space, as opposed to thinking that everything has to be one-dimensional.
Yeah, all of that shit. Like that's. I just want y'all, just a little bit. I ain't even saying like everybody got to agree. That was one of the principles that I like, that I feel like helps more is, boy, he killed. Omni-Man was on some other shit. Yo. Sorry. He just decapitated the dude in the back.
That's why I gotta be a black dude. Like he just survived death only for a white man.
Yeah, I feel like his death was maybe like the saddest part, because it was like he went through, everybody else knew they was going to get fucked up. I survived. Yeah, he had a lot of time to be like, oh, I made it. And he said something about like, I made it. But no, in the book they said something like there's a big whole principle about like vibration, which I feel like everybody should read, because everybody just be saying the vibes, and it's like the vibes are definitely contingent upon like you. Like it makes
Energy.
it makes it very like you based. So it's not like all this like I can understand the vibes, and like the vibes are fucking around because you fucking up, champ. Like it's not, the vibe is not showing up fucked up. It's like, yo man, like it's I think somebody even like there was a description like magnets, like if it's too fucking you ever put your fucking magnets like this, you could do all day, and them motherfuckers gonna do this shit.
They not gonna touch.
Yeah, so if it's not fucking, it'll propel away from me, and it's kind of shit like that. Like, granted, I'm still an avid fucking fan of, like, if you get too crazy, I'm gonna put my knee through your fucking forehead. But there's also a lot of shit that, like, probably don't interact with, because it's like, I'll just be like, cool, you can feel it, like, you know, motherfucker be like, oh, you're a weird motherfucker. Say something really nice around a bunch of complaining ass motherfuckers, like, this shit, this, that, and the third. It is nice though, like, you know, they, you still like I don't like this fucking place. I like these raised ceilings. Now, I think it's really dope. I was looking at this video about raised ceilings and how it does this, that, and the third. Oh, can you always got some? I do always have something nice to say. So either you're gonna get really fucking nice or fucking explode. I don't know, like, you know, that's about it.
I actually had an experience like that recently. Like, I was having a conversation with somebody, and they're like adamant about trying to create a conversation with me. Like, okay, that's cool. But in the midst of it, one of their responses was like, you have a rebuttal for everything I say. And it's like, I have a different perspective, but you also may not realize how your perspective is coming off real, like, egotistical to me. Mm. And I'm just showing you how uncomfortable that sounds to me, to let you know, like, that's not, it's me drawing a boundary, but not like drawing a harsh boundary. I'm just letting you know that doesn't sound appealing to me. So sometimes having a rebuttal is a good thing, because you thinking that your way or the highway or your way is the best way to have this conversation. And I'm letting you know that it's not, and it's actually uncomfortable to a degree.
So I got like a response to that. Like, one, I said, maybe if you were already, like, said in the thing and, like, y'all involved or whatever, this ain't even, actually, I was about to make a, like, man-woman thing, but, like, in general, although, like, I don't have a lot of experience long-term with interacting like that with dudes, because, like, you can't come a bunch of times and just vent and complain. That is literally, like, draining on somebody's, like, psyche or whatever. But also, if my mindset is to, like, you can let somebody vent. I'm not saying, like, always bust somebody over the head with, like, stuff, but if you tell somebody something, like, 4 or 5 times, or every day you have a complaint, like, I just feel like that's something that you could just self-inventory. Like, am I complaining every fucking day? Words mean something. Words are powerful. Y'all be posting all this shit. Okay, well, then think about it. If every day you say something negative, that is going to actively affect. This is not, I'm not even saying the washu-sashi shit. Like, there's studies, like, it'll fuck with your brain chemistry. Like, it'll fuck with your fucking neural. It
fucks with plants and animals.
Oh, yeah, it will. If you come in here and, like, at this plant every day, it'll fucking die. And you say this one has really nice plant titties, it'll grow to the top. Like, that's a thing.
So all of y'all saying you have anxious dogs, maybe it's because you have anxious energy and your dog picks up on that and mimics it?
I'm not gonna lie, I run by that. Like, I'm, you know, what you get, I don't know if it's a proper scientific model, but it works for me. If I'm in a space and babies or dogs don't fuck with me, I know my shit is off. Like, usually if I'm around and I'm pretty okay with animals and I'm pretty okay with kids, if they are somewhere, like, not fucking with me, I'm like, all right, man, what's wrong with you? I don't think what's wrong with the kid. I don't think what's wrong with the animal. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I saw, like, that's been part of my little check-in. If I'm just doing, like, random shit and I have random little positive interactions, like, oh, dude, little fucking, y'all go to delis. There's a deli, like, up the street from the house. Like, and the little deli dude, like, is giving me some unnecessary compliment. Oh, man, what you think about them goddamn? Oh, cool. I'm in a good one. These old niggas don't shut the fuck up talking to me. Like, I realize now, I know, like, I've come in here and said a whole lot of conversation about, like, big, mean, black man look. You know, him looking like a knockdown
Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla. The King of Kong. We have to let him, like, you know, that shit. Now, it's been about 3 or 4 over the past couple weeks. I've had 4 or 5 interactions where it's like, I'm like, holy fuck, man. Maybe I need to be meaner. Like, I've become, now I need to get fucking angry, because, like, I'm super big unk. I walked into the gym today and it was a new dude working there, and I thought he was just being nice, and he was like, what do you think I should, like, how do you think I should start working out? I was like, you know, you just have a nice split. And he was like, what else? I was like, oh, bitch, you're serious? Fuck, we have to have a conversation. I sat up here for fucking 10 minutes at the thing. I'm like, all right, man, you know, just keep it simple. I gave him split. I gave him a couple workouts. I was like, start with compounds. It's really simple. You know, keep it. I was like, what the fuck is, I was like, oh, I'm like, I see this dude work here. Dude who's usually there, like, he walks up. I was like, maybe I should work out together. And he was like, oh, cool. And I was like, oh, I'm making bonds. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? I came in here to not talk to nobody. What the fuck is going on?
I mean, like you said, the energy, I can appreciate that, because
Oh wait, this girl was this is my last one. This girl was doing squats, and you know, like the gym culture meme now, where like if a girl's doing anything in front of you, it's like, oh my god, man. This is where it's fucked up. I didn't, but like part of me was like, he knocked the shit out. That was sorry.
Out of his son.
Dog beat this nigga to death. Watch Invincible, guys. I'm doing so much free promo. Hire me. But yeah, she was doing squats, and like I knew that what she was working out with was heavy, and my first thought was like, oh, does she need it? I was like, whoa, nigga, because you fuck around and be one of them niggas. I genuinely sat there. That was an anxious moment because I was like, damn, if this bitch blow out her fucking hips and kneecaps, and I'm trying to be fucking save my life. She ended up, but I got to give her credit because she did her shit. She got to a, obviously a rep that she couldn't handle. I went up to help, but she knew how to do because why do y'all be not knowing how to just, if you just throw that motherfucker off, you put the bars there on the side for a reason to catch the weight. They
don't know that those are guards.
Okay. She used her guards. She had a guard. She knew how to, I was like, oh shit. And she was like, but thank you for fucking being there. I was like, oh, you not finna put me on the internet? I
mean, but that ties into our conversation of men having a really good ability to look at the path of least resistance, or which situation is more dangerous or safe for me than others. Because they're now, because of just something as simple as trying to be helpful, can get perceived as you being a pig or whatever the case is. And now you on TikTok, you'd rather, you know what? I know she gonna struggle, but to risk this level of safety, I would rather just let her fail and be stuck until she actually says something. Kind of like I've gotten chewed out for playing around saying let her suffer. But that's part of the conversation of like, all right, if this is going to be a dangerous situation for me, I may choose to say, you know what, I don't have nothing to do in this regard, because clearly this can be flipped on me, which is going to be unsafe for me, and I'd rather just not. I don't think we talk about that, but we alluded to it a little bit earlier. Men make those decisions, and it's sad that you even have to think of like, what's more important right now? Her temporary safety or my long-term safety?
I was like, I like coming in this motherfucker. Like, I don't want no weirdo shit. But now I will say this, like now I don't, we're not like gym bros. Some people like moments like that. You'd be like, hey man, what up, bro? Like my name's Todd, and like we're gym bro friends. But now I'm like, okay, cool.
Y'all
like,
can nod a little bit when she sees you.
Yeah, like in the event that she do some crazy shit again, I was like, I'm not being weird. You look like you're gonna fucking die. So that, cool. These are what I'm thinking about. Like in my mind, I'm like, all right, man, like cool. Everybody keep a fucking cope steak around this bitch. I'm very good. Like I wear a hoodie. I'm such a fucking like, how them niggas look in the videos just without all the depressing she didn't fucking call you back shit. I'm very happy, but like I'm just leave me alone vibes. So yeah, y'all niggas gotta stop that.
I think
shit
the
too, bro.
appearance for us sometimes is important. Like how you show up into the space, unfortunately, will increase your amount of safety. Because, like, unfortunately, I love gym. I love gym culture. I love all of that. And it's the current state of gym culture sometimes that makes me contemplate, like, do I really want to go back? Or if I do go back, I'm going full-blown old-school bodybuilder status, big sweats, big hoodie. Or I may give me some scrubs or something to stay covered up and mind my business, because clearly just trying to be a nice person is going to turn into you being whatever on TikTok. Whereas before, gym culture was super inviting and warm of everybody. Like people loved helping each other. I've had situations years ago where I just like, hey, like, do you need assistance? Because you look like you struggling. And that's just the trainer in me. The trainer in me is trying to assist. And they're like, oh, I see how you did that. You were trying, that's a good way to kind of work into a conversation to try to get the number. And I was like, I really wasn't trying to get the number. Like I am concerned for your safety just because I was walking by and I wanted to be a good Samaritan.
Yeah, I think about that both ways. Like I definitely am big hoodie, whatever. I do find myself like, cause I be trying to focus on like legs, cause I don't really like doing legs. So legs would be a day where you might like see me in like little shorts. So I can see my fucking progression. But other than that, absolutely, I'm very like sweatsuited out, big fucking whatever. I look like a very James Harrison outfits. He's strong as shit too. Anyways, but yeah, I understand like there is the weird nigga who like, oh, you wanna spot? yeah, let me get up so I can sniff your chin. Butt sweat. Like, I understand them niggas exist. But so like, I don't know, I'll be like back and forth. If I feel like somebody is it, but it does put me in a position where like, unless I feel like you're going to get hurt, I don't be trying to like, and I don't be trying to be like Jim douche, because I can't lie. I've seen some of them niggas, there's like, it's fucked up, because like some of you douche niggas exist. Like,
Absolutely.
you know, like, yeah, you know, like you didn't have to make all that noise right there. You didn't have to do all that extra shit. Like, if it's, like, I'm a grunter. If that shit heavy, I'm finna get it off.
In there peacocking.
Yeah, but some of you niggas are like douchey.
Some are creepy. Like I've come across some situations where like, which I take it as a little bit of comfort. Like women have come by me deliberately because somebody's following them and they want to have another sizable guy next to them to like feel protected, and they kind of like, oh, okay, he's being a real creep right now. Okay, cool. I appreciate you at least like feeling safe enough to do that with me. But yes, those are those type of dudes out there that are just, you fit the stereotype of where everybody is getting lumped in right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just want you niggas, like, you know, I'm not saying you can't go to the gym and meet you, you know, nice tender, but just don't be like, it takes nothing.
Places to find.
Yeah, it just takes nothing not to be a fucking weirdo. Like, yes, man, like that thing is sitting how it's sitting in them tights, but also, you know that nobody, like, that's not what she here for. Like, you know good and fucking well. Absolutely. You see, like, y'all see, everybody sees a lot of these people regularly. This motherfucker comes in here and she puts the whole gym on her fucking legs and kicks it through the roof. Stop fucking playing with her. Like, you know, or like, you know, either have a genuine conversation and also learn how to just take a fucking L. Hi, not interested. Cool. That also means you, man, you don't have to embarrass this nigga. You could just give him a cool no. And my nigga, you fucking fuck off and call it a fucking day, guys. Why I like this place. Y'all making it so fucking weird.
I can appreciate that last part. I've had situations where people have tried to embarrass me thinking I'm trying to be creepy. It's like, I talk to you every day. Why are you acting weird about me talking to you today? I had one girl think that I was following her around the gym. I was like, we're working on the same body parts.
Right.
Like, I'm not following you around. Like, you keep walking by here intentionally to get my attention. Like, I didn't say anything to you. We're just working on the same shit.
Girl, fuck you.
But I was like, you know what? Me and you have nothing to ever discuss ever again. The fact that you would, no.
Hey, that's something me and my sister talk about. Because Chardon's fucking nice, got real nice energy. So she'll get a lot more like, that's how I know like maybe my shit is off. Because I've felt for a long time, it's heavy. So I'll be having my scowl on. And I can feel that, oh, everybody think I'm going to knock them through. But it works for me because I keep all the bullshit away. Mm-hmm. Now, apparently, I think I've been giggling too much or some shit. You niggas, you know.
That's the thought that I had this week that we talked about on a previous episode. I was thinking I'm pussy. Like, you people really been like, y'all trying me trying to be Zen Master number 9 and really be peaceful and taking the high moral high road in a lot of situations. Y'all are really, I must have to go back to the old me that's like, you must need to see the muscles in me slamming shit and like just, because clearly I'm this peaceful me that I've been for the last handful of years. It's just, y'all think that nigga.
I think it's that, but I think it's.
I like it sometimes. I was walking down the street with my new plants. I got 2 new plants today, and you know I'm one of few extra melanated individuals in this Latino community. So sometimes I'll be walking around peacefully, and people just be like afraid to make eye contact, like I'm gonna beat them down. Even some of the like dudes that's dressed like old school cholos, like y'all high socks and fucking pro club hoodies, and y'all be scared to make eye contact like I'm about to run down on you, and I'm not. But me walking down the street with 2 plants, and this lady was just like smiling like, oh, like, yeah, I'm not a threat to y'all. But the presentation, sometimes I might change the presentation because
I think sometimes it's presentation, but also like in my actual, like with strangers, it's not always. It be sometimes motherfuckers who you know, and I be telling, but you know, I know I've said that before, but I always like have
acquainted with you.
Oh yeah,
who are familiar with you in some capacity, because clearly they don't know you.
Okay, let me go back, because acquainted is a fucking thing, because it's like, I think sometimes people make, I've said this before, like quantity time as opposed to quality time. Like, I've known you. What do you know? we know each other exist. We follow each other maybe on social media, but like think back how many genuine interactions like have we had? And I'm not gonna say this is gender specific, but I do understand this scenario from a man-woman perspective. Is like how many conversations have we had where you came to me, you said a lot of stuff, you got off a lot of stuff, and maybe that time you were in a position, or you were in a space where you can listen to my advice, so to speak, or my perspective. Now on the flip side, how many conversations did we ever like? This is what the fuck I was going through. Like that was even part of it. My conversation was you had a thought and you either want me to like be a part of your thought, but not really like, just you know, just sit that down there if it applies, if it fuck with you, if it rattles some shit around. The other side is like this shit, like I talked to my dad a lot about. It's like people meeting you like at the space you're at, but not necessarily having a respect for like, what's in there. Like, nobody like, if you never take nobody to the basement, they don't really know what's in that motherfucker. Like, you'd be like, I didn't even know this house. Like, you come into a nice house. I didn't even know this house has babes. It's so much shit in that motherfucking basement.
Ain't nothing in the basement for you.
Like, now
personal experience. Ain't nothing in the basement for you but trouble.
It's nice. I've organized it, but that shit's still in that fucking basement. And that's cool. It's just, like I'm not saying because everybody always flip conversations like this as if like you're trying to threaten the motherfucker. And it's like, no, it's just that respect that shit is in the basement, so you just don't fuck with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would somebody like, I don't know, like why even press somebody to the line? That's another fear of like, or like a awareness, like, oh, you're not somebody who really like, that's somebody who's a nut. Because why do you think it's even necessary to push somebody to that fucking line? Like, ain't nobody fucking with that. Oh, you getting a little upset? Let's go ahead and put a pause in this. Why the fuck would you? Because I know me. You ain't never. That's always you ain't never pressed nobody. Yes, but when I'm ready to fight, I know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I didn't do that shit to try to make a point. I want this shit to look like fucking. Remember when Superman and Zod got into it? I want this shit to look like Metropolis. When Batman was running through that dust, motherfucker, that's me. Like, I'm knocking all this shit over. So yeah, don't leave it alone. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying like, I'm just saying like
safety in mind.
Yeah, I'm not promoting anybody to fucking like fly off the handle, but I'm saying that like people be acting like, just because you ain't ever seen a motherfucker lose their shit, like it's cool to be weird and like, shitty and disrespectful.
I've shared on this show a few different times how I've heard a number of different times in the late dating space of like, I want to see what you're like when you're mad. Why? Why do you want to do that? Why are you not respecting the fact that 98.8 whatever percent of the time you see me as a peaceful individual? I got resting dick face, but I'm still a peaceful individual that's not here trying to fuck shit up. Why would you want to see that other side of me?
Yeah, see, that's what I guess, all sides need to understand the language, because it's like understanding how your partner, somebody maneuvers, in high stress situations, what they look like, this, that, and the third. Cool. That phrase of I want to see what you look like when you're mad, I'm like, that just seems like you want to have like fucked up some fucked up control over somebody's emotions, or you get off on the fact of like it's a different bag. It's different than being like,
it's a red flag for me, dog.
Yeah, it's different than being like, oh, y'all are in the dating space and it's like, okay, you want to see how this person maneuvers, and even that, it seems manipulative. There we go. It seems manipulative to try to just like put somebody through a fucking ringer of fucking like, let's test this out. You fucking be open and you engage this person in a different variety of areas and like, okay, I see how this person maneuvers here and here. Okay, I understand them now. But you motherfuckers sitting there like, I want to see how this motherfucker. Fuck you.
I want to see what you like when you're confident, when you're not insecure, when you're not in your head. I want to see what you're like when your mental and your energies are aligned. And that's why I approach you in that type of manner.
Start saying wild shit. I want to see what you like when you get mad. Boy, I get outside. I like to climb trees and I chew a bird straight through his fucking yeah, that's what I do.
Ozzy Osbourne?
Yeah, I'll bite a bird straight through his fucking nest. That's what I do when I get mad. You still interested? Fuck away from me.
Sure. Old video. You remember the wrestler, the Boogeyman?
Yep.
This is me when I'm mad. Do you want to be involved with this individual?
Yeah, what am I?
No? Okay.
What do you like when you get mad? I'm like that little Thornberry boy. Yeah, leave me the fuck alone. want to see what you like.
Baggy cargo shorts and all.
Yeah, I
Like,
want to see what you get like. I get ass naked and I just in public now.
do you want me to see that person? No, then
Okay,
appreciate
yeah.
this version of me that you're seeing in front of you.
Talk to me nicely, you goof.
Which that random random part. Why do so? Like, we're having a discussion of how we are actively trying to keep our, for lack of a better term, crazy away. Like, I'm working hard to approach you in this manner so you don't have to see these sides of me. Why do we see certain folk on Instagram that are promoting the fact that, yeah, I'm crazy like this? And like, why are you promoting that as if it's a good thing and that we should accept that?
Because that's what everybody. Oh, one, I gotta always blame these niggas because I feel like there's this demographic of niggas that don't. Everybody doesn't really understand emotions, healthily.
Mm-hmm.
So if in the most toxic version, if this person is mad at me, if this person is giving affection towards me, then I resonate that with I have a certain level of control or status or whatever. And this person's like, bitch, can't forget about me because you always want to come slash a nigga thighs and blow his mother. That bitch fuck, she can't forget about a nigga. That's not love. That's, ego and all those other low ranking insecure ass emotions. Like, that's where that's stemming from. That's not a love thing. On the flip side, I feel like the other side enjoys it because it makes you not have to be a fucking rational, accountable adult. Like, I'm crazy, you don't want to see me lose it. And that's a what's the fucking it's kind of like an abuse thing. Like, don't make me lose my fucking look here, goddamn. What you make me fucking. And that's not the same shit of what we were talking about where somebody keeps pressing your fucking buttons and trying to get the worst about it. That's literally somebody using the fact that, like, I will lose it if you don't make me go crazy. It's like, no, like, if somebody's trying to have a good conversation, if somebody's trying to gain understanding, those are different things than somebody poking and prodding and looking for some like negative shit. Those are different spectrums or different sides of like the anger coin or whatever fuck we're talking about here. But that always seems to me like I want to be able to be as much of a dick. Like, it's the same thing back to those relationship standards. Like, the standard is you come unto her and deal with whatever the fuck she gives you because she is the prize. She is by default intrinsically valuable. And it is your, solemn duty to just adhere to her regardless of any type of proof of that type of like good partner, good personship. And so you put yourself in a position where this person thinks I'm awesome by default. And that just ain't always true. Like, and that's what I don't know. I get up here always and talk about like that negative side of like man up is like part of that in a positive way is like it makes you have to always think to a certain degree. I need to be a king. You have to set king and queens out there. You have to be at a standard of kingliness. Take care of your kingdom, prove your shit, do this, that, and the third. Okay, like, but what are the queenly standards? And that's what that shit is. Like, you just a queen just because. Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
I'm not a king just because I have to earn that title. I'm
right.
actively earning that title.
But even if I actively earn that title, I still have to actively and intentionally display what type I want to be within that title. Because you can get the title of king or queen. It doesn't mean that you are a good king or queen. I think we stop at just, I have the title because I am. It's like, no. You don't. You got to earn that, but you also got to display how are you going to be a queen? Because all queens ain't the same. Like, you can be a queen as far as the Wicked Witch of the East. That ain't exactly the type of queen that I want to be next to. Like, what's the queen in fucking Alice in Wonderland?
Oh yeah, off with his head.
Off with everybody's head. Like, that's not the type of queen that I want to have next to me. So what type of this are you? Not only do you have to earn it, but you also have to display how are you going to be this way. And we don't talk about or pay attention on both sides. I get the aspect of how we started it, as far as like, hey, let's go up king, to speak positivity into each other, but there's also more to it than that. You really gotta. What version of this are you trying to actually be?
Yeah, it just, where does that shit, stem
it goes
from?
Back to the authentic piece, like finding out exactly who you are, who you want to be, and why, and then actually, letting that show as opposed to being some performative version of whatever the fuck.
Bars. I don't know. I don't really got much more for y'all today. I didn't have no topics. I feel like we really hit it on the board. Also, Today was a Sunday episode. I feel like y'all not gonna know about it, but like I just feel like
Ain't
that's
nobody
important
now because you just said that day.
Yeah, I just feel like y'all like should know that like because it was different. Sunday vibes is different vibes, and I'm finna go to work after this. I just want you niggas to know like niggas is really getting to it. So when this shit pop, I don't want anybody. Niggas work really hard for this shit. Like I just want y'all to know like I'm showing ass like
Consistently.
pretty much.
Consistently. You know what happens when somebody show ass consistently? You supposed to eat it. So eat all this shit up.
Yeah, that's it. I want to end on that. Where the fuck is the fucking end button? Where the music at? That's fuck you guys. That's it. That's
Cue
the
music.
That's the wrap it up fucking moment of the day. So when somebody show ass, you're supposed to eat. Everybody put your fucking asses out. Everybody put their ass out.
Actually, this I was gonna play a different song, but this will be
Everybody like, hey, everybody pull your motherfucking walk out right now.
Should have played doing the butt, but it's okay. We're gonna rock with this more.
I want feedback. Everybody, for sure, everybody in a relationship, y'all should walk in the apartment, the house, whatever, whichever side. Pull your asses out. Shit better get ate. I want reports back, and if not, we're gonna help y'all fix our relationship.
Vulnerability and intimacy, stepping outside of the norm and outside of roles.
That's it.
Exploring actual pleasure and being unselfish. Those things are importante.
Eat the masses.
All the masses eat the masses. We'll see y'all next episode. Y'all enjoy. Have a wonderful Sunday.
Creature comforts. Peace should come first. If I keep eating sweets like this till my teeth ain't gum work. Used to sleep through love hurts.